All right. Good afternoon, Miss Tan. DJ Miss Tan.
Yeah,
How are you?
I am good. I have to remember to look.
So it's so good to see you. It's been a while since I've actually seen you. We talk online through Telegram and everything, but it is great to see you.
Good to
So
see you
today,
too.
what great, thank you. What I want to do today is just kind of talk to you about number one, being a grandma, number two, being grandma who is in the prime of her life, living her best life, what that looks like for you, and this whole 2.0 grandma thing, right?
Okay.
So, and then a little bit about your platform, your business, what you're doing, what's the goals and that sort of thing. So that's all I want us to talk about today because, I believe that grandmas get a raw deal, right? In the past, grandmas were looked at as like those ladies who would just take care of everybody's kids and dole out money when people needed money and that sort of thing, but they didn't have a life of their own, right? But
Right.
today's grandma, oh, we're on a whole new level, baby. You better ask somebody. Okay,
Woo.
we're on a whole new level. We doing our own thing, right? We taking care of ourselves. We're putting ourselves first finally, and then saying, yeah, if I can do that, I'll be happy to do that or whatever. But I'm first. And I think it's time because as women, we always put ourselves last, and I know that I always say that, as a mother, my kids, when I haven't started having my kids, that was first priority. So everything else had to take a back burner, right? But
Right.
now, like these kids are grown. It's my time now. That's how I see it.
For
Okay.
sure. All
So I
right.
want us to talk about that. And the 2.0 Grandma podcast, that's what we're all about. Honoring, celebrating grandmas because, yes, we are the ish. Yes, baby. You better ask somebody. So, Miss Tan, tell us about who you are and then tell us all about your grandkids and all of that.
Well, I am multifaceted. So, there's different personas that exist. Of course, that
Mm-hmm.
grandma persona is there. My
Mm-hmm.
grandbaby actually calls me G-Ma because
Okay.
to be called grandma because, of course, I thought that was sounding so old, right?
Exactly.
So I think people would know me first as DJ Miss Tan. I am a DJ. I love music. I've been DJing. Oh gosh, I can't even remember now. 2011, 2012. Seriously, for
Okay.
for money. DJing all my life because, of course, I did that cassette tape back in the day, which you had to record on the radio.
Right.
My age. So I made these tapes for my friends way back in the day, not knowing
Okay.
that I would be a grandmother who DJs. So that's my first persona. I am a grandmother that DJs, right? I also now have evolved into a traffic and weather reporter for iHeart Media. So now everybody knows my government name. I am
Oh, wow.
Cummings.
Tanya Cummings.
Yes, I am
Okay.
Tanya,
Okay.
Tanya Cummings.
Tanya Cummings. Okay. I didn't know that. And
Yes,
now you said you do the weather and traffic report for
the radio.
iHeartRadio. Oh, I didn't know that about you. Cool.
That's for the local stations here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. I am a mother. I have two kids, one deceased. That's my son. You know that is already. And
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
had a little girl, um, Ava. So I only have
Mm.
one grandchild, and that is Miss Ava, DJ Miss Ava. I'm making
Oh,
her
she's a DJ too. Oh God. Is she like Pink Diamond's granddaughter? What is her name?
purple
Zoe
dot.
Chloe.
Yeah,
What is her name?
DJ Purple
Zoe?
Dot.
Mm-hmm. Purple Diamond. Yeah.
Yeah, we are the grandmothers that's passing it down to our
I
grand.
know that's right.
So
Talk about legacy, right?
both of those girls wanted to do it. It's not like we forced them. They asked
Right, right,
to do it
right.
from
Mm-hmm.
watching their
Mm-hmm.
grandmothers. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yes, 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 yes. That I always say that's how I became the woman that I am today is because of my grandma and
Mhm.
what she instilled in me. And she didn't raise me,
For
but
sure.
watching her, I was always in awe of her and how she moved and navigated, through life. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, That's always interesting to me. So I see that. I can see that definitely.
Yeah.
Hmm. So now tell me, for the weather and traffic reporting, do you have to be a meteorologist for that or no?
I'm just a reporter.
Oh,
So
reporting what's happening. Ah,
I report.
okay, 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 okay.
I just have to be a research specialist. I don't did the meteorologist predicts. I just
Ah,
report. That's the difference.
ah, I never knew that either. Okay. My son, who's in the military, who was in the military, is not anymore. He was in the Air Force, and that's what he studied, meteorology, when he was in the Air Force. And so he likes that. He loves talking too. He has his own podcast and everything. He started a group called the Knowledge Institute. So
Mhm.
he talks about a variety of different things. He's a veteran, and so he talks about those kinds of issues and that sort of thing as well. Sports, and he's got a couple of different things under that umbrella.
Mhm.
But yeah, one of the things that he can do is the meteorology. So yeah, and
Uh,
and I was never really paid much attention to, thought about the weather much. It's the thing that we have to deal with. But he made it kind of fascinating to me when he was talking about, oh, the different kind of clouds, and I'm like, I never remembered any of that from school.
any of that. He's the one who puts it into the system, and I say whatever he says. I believe him. Okay, he's
Right.
very smart. I can tell you what type of clouds, and I can tell you the shapes of the clouds if I see them.
Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah,
Definitely not.
that's funny. Yeah, that's funny. So that's interesting though. That's very interesting. So now your DJ things, what do you how did that come about?
So, like I said, I always had a love for music. Even as a little child, music helped me to escape. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I was singing love songs all the way back in the day. When you listen back to the type of music that you were listening to and what it really meant. I mean, music evoked true emotions in me as a child. And then it evolved into karaoke. And I love karaoke. So
Me too.
I forced my poor kids to do karaoke all the time when they were smaller. And so one day, my son, God bless his soul, was like, "Mom, you a DJ my party?" I was like, "No, it's too late. I'm too old. I'll hire you a DJ." And he was like, "No, I really want you to do it."
Mm.
I was like, hmm. you know, he wasn't going to be embarrassed of me, doing it with his friends. And kids are the what? They are the truth. They gonna tell you the truth.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah.
He's And so I started thinking about it, and I started gathering, the most inexpensive equipment I could get at the time, because I wasn't going to invest a whole bunch of money into it. And
Hmm.
thanks to social media, I used to have karaoke parties in my house.
Oh wow.
And people, I mean, we would have a blast. And people start requesting me. This one guy, he said, "I would like for you to DJ my birthday party. I want to have a karaoke party." And I thought, hmm, it's going to be something different. He's going to have karaoke at his party, and I play music in between. I was so scared. I
Wow.
got two little small speakers with stands. I bought a computer off someone, and the history is there. So my son evoked that feeling in me that I could still do it at my age, my old age. I was in my 30s at the time, late 30s. You think that's old. And
That is not old.
right. About DJs, you're thinking about they're young, they're in their 20s, no kids type thing.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
That I could revisit this dream. Now let me be clear, I never dreamt of being a mobile DJ. Okay, I went
Hmm.
to school for radio and television, so I was in radio right out of college.
Okay.
So it was always my dream to have my own show, to take over for Oprah when she retired type deal.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Different format, right? And so I just started DJing, word of mouth. That's the best type of advertisement there is. And I went from, older women who were having events, all women events, and they're like,
Hmm.
female DJ. I never knew it was a such thing. People weren't aware that female DJs existed.
Existed, right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then my motto was good, clean, fun. So I DJ
Mhm.
for churches, women's conferences. I never really got into the club DJing type deal, corporate.
Mm.
I did corporate parties and weddings and birthday parties and kids parties. A lot of my parties would come from, none of the DJs wanted to deal with kids, and I love kids parties. So
Mhm.
I would get a lot of those referrals, and it just grew from there.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, just word of mouth, and being on social media, posting it. Um,
Uh-huh.
then I joined the Fleet DJs, of course, and just got a family of
Mhm.
DJs, and then we started doing community events in the park. I mean, it just grew beyond anything that I would have ever expected it to be. I have so much
Oh,
equipment
wow.
now; it's just like ridiculous. Okay, it
Huh.
is. Yes,
And it
I
all happened just because your son said, "Mom, why don't you DJ my party?" And you weren't even thinking about being a DJ. You just love music.
I would do it for them, for the family,
Mhm. Mhm.
just for me, for us.
Right. 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 Right.
I ended up DJing my daughter's birth. She let me look. I said she let me because you always think you're so old, right? I
Mhm.
did her a karaoke sleepover party, and those kids had a ball. My daughter sang, all her friends sang, and I just felt like a superstar. Those kids,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, and neither one of my kids were embarrassed like I thought they would be when a parent,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, did something
Yes.
that I thought.
Yes.
And then I started realizing, I mean, DJs are older. They are mature, I should say.
Yeah. Because, I look at the DJs in the fleet and I'm like, wow, I thought that, when I first joined, I thought, okay, there's going to be a group of young DJs. They're going to say, who is this old grandma lady over here? Trying
Yeah,
to be a part of. But and I was surprised. I have to admit, I was very surprised that there were people 50 plus,
yeah, for sure.
that were the DJ. And I think most of them probably fall in that range. Yeah, 40, 50s. Yeah.
For
And
sure.
some even 60s. Yeah. But
Because,
that was interesting to me.
yeah, we're now integrating because we had like one young DJ to come in, and he was like, "Oh, you old people, we got to get some younger people in." So
Mm-hmm.
Florida, we have introduced some newer blood, like in their 20s and 30s,
Mm,
and it's a
mm-hmm.
different atmosphere, but it helps us learn, and then we're able to pass down some wisdom to them as well.
Yes, 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 yes. And that's what, to me, that's what Grandma's 2.0 is about. It's the sharing of the wisdom. And I think I asked you about being in the book, which is stories of inspiration, life lessons, and wisdom from grandmas. Because I think people can learn from grandmas, even though they might say, oh, well, that's old fashioned. That's what y'all used to do in the olden days or whatever. Yes, but think about how you might apply some of that today. Some of that still works.
Yeah,
You tweak it to make it match whatever it is you're doing, but it works. Okay.
for sure.
So that's what I want people to know. And those life lessons are like gems.
Yeah,
I think that's part of legacy as well, is leaving something to inspire the next generation to do something, whatever it might be. It might be DJing, it might be reporting the weather, the news, the traffic, whatever, but inspiring them to do something. Because I think what I know for me, what I want my children and grandchildren to realize is that they can do anything they want to do in this world, right? That they don't have to put themselves in a box. Because for even as a grandma, I don't want them to think that, oh, well, the only thing that grandmas can do is this. No, grandmas can do anything. And I think I said this earlier. My grandma inspired me because when she became a grandma, she did, and this was back in, I don't even know. She would be, how old would she be now? She would probably be 100 or something. Yeah. And
wow.
so she did some things that were unthinkable. She started her own business, when women didn't start their businesses back then, right? I
Mhm.
mean, we hear about Madam C.J. Walker, but we don't hear about, Marie Lassane, who is my grandma, right? Who wasn't famous, but started her own business. And the way she did it, she worked for these people in their homes, because back in the day, you remember how black folks used to work
Yeah.
in white folks' homes and take care of their kids and families. And she went to Oklahoma with them
Mm.
and stayed for about a year. She saved her money. Then she came back and she moved to South Carolina to Atlantic Beach. And that was back called the Black Beach back then.
Mhm.
Right. It's right at Myrtle Beach, like maybe 2 or 3 streets that right before you get to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. And she went down there and she worked as an apprentice with someone for about a year or so to learn the ropes. And then she got her own place. Right.
Uh-huh.
So right there, that's inspiring. This was a single woman doing this. And she was already a grandma at the time.
What kind of business was it?
It was a bed. It was, we today we might call it bed and breakfast, but it was a hotel because she had rooms. She had a restaurant. She fed the people. She even had a little counter there because I used to work back on the counter when I was like 12, 11 and 12, right? Where she had gum and goody powder and stuff like that, sodas and stuff like that. And then she would cook the food for the people. We had to make up the beds and all that. So she had all of that, and I think she had about 8 or 10 rooms in that place, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
Right? It was
amazing.
upstairs, and then she had her own living quarters downstairs, and it really was amazing. And she had us where she told us, she said, "Okay, if y'all come down here and help me, your grandkids, I will pay. I will buy your school clothes." And I was down because anything dealing with clothes, I'm down. Okay, if you know me, I'm a fashionista.
Right,
Right,
right.
so, right. I was like, yes, I'm gonna get me some nice school clothes because I went to Catholic school and we had to always wear those uniforms,
Mm-hmm.
and so I hated it. And right, and so I was like, yes. And guess what? She did not pay us one brown penny. What she said was, "Well, I'm giving y'all somewhere to stay." I'm like, "Yeah, but you asked us to come." I was so upset with her. I was upset.
She knew what to say to get you
She knew
there.
exactly what she was doing. So what I had to do was I had to work another job, right, in order to get money. So there was a man that had a little canteen kind of thing. Today we might call it a food truck, where
Mm-hmm.
you come up to the stuff and he was selling candy apples, cotton candy, snow cones and stuff like that, popcorn, all that kind of stuff that the kids wanted, when they're
Mm-hmm.
walking up and down the strip. So I had to work there in order to get paid. So, but she made sure it was like right across the street, right? So she could keep an eye on me, right? To
Mm-hmm.
make sure. So I was like, this lady right here is a mess. But I didn't realize that until later in life that what she taught me was a good work ethic,
Yes,
right? I'm not
for
afraid to
sure.
work. I've always worked 2 jobs, even or either job and going to school or something like that. Right.
Mm.
But I don't think I would have been able to do that or didn't know the value of that had I not had those experiences with her.
Yes.
And not afraid to start a business. She was not afraid. I mean, this woman really had no education beyond high school. Even if she
Mm.
had that, I don't even know.
Wow.
Right. So it tells
Mhm.
you can do anything you want to do.
Yes, yes. It's mine was the total opposite. Um,
Mm,
I am definitely an anomaly in my family where I'm the only one who moved away.
mm,
The only one initially that had graduated from college. I have some other cousins that have graduated from college now,
mm-hmm,
but m- I'm a Virgo. Both of my grandmothers were Virgos. Both of them moved away from their families.
mm,
So that was instilled in me that I could live somewhere else.
mm-hmm,
But as far as what I'm doing, one of my grandmothers was super holiness. She didn't want
mm.
to hear nothing about no DJing.
Right.
The other one, though, now that I'm thinking about it, is where my love for music derived from.
Mm,
Now, she didn't do, anything outside of the house. Both of my grandmothers also had domestic jobs, the same as your grandmother. Um, my one grandmother, though, she did introduce us to music, from blues to country to R&B to hip hop to gospel. So that is where my love came from. And I'm just not realizing that talking to you right now.
yeah, I mean, the value in these grandma conversations, it's uncanny because, we don't think about what
Yes.
we learn from them. Yes. And I
Yes.
just recently came to these realizations since I've been doing this grandma work. I did not realize the impact that she had on me until I started talking about it in this way. And I get teary, I get a little, full every time I
Yes.
talk about it because I'm like, wow, I had no idea. So it tells me too that this is part of what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yes, for sure. I can now kind of change that story a little bit because I
Yeah.
mean, we never went to church when we were at her house, but we had church in her house
Mm,
for sure. We had tambourines and everything.
mm,
Yes,
mm.
yes, we had church in her house for
Yeah, that's
sure.
amazing. Yeah, that's amazing.
Hmm.
And when we start digging into these stories about our families, we realize, wow, these people, I mean, if you think about it, the struggles that they had, we don't know the struggles they had. We had our own struggles, not saying that we did not,
Hmm.
but we don't know the struggles that they had, but yet and still they rise.
Huh, for sure.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
And
yes.
leave a legacy of something like that.
Phenomenal
Like,
women.
yes, 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 yes. And it's amazing. And so I just want to honor that because I think that we, even today's grandmas, even though we're not, we're totally different in some respects from them, in how we see the world. It may be different, but I think we got a lot of what we see and who we are from them.
Yeah.
It's like that independence that she left her hometown, like you said, and moved to Oklahoma with some people. I mean, she knew the people, of course, but she didn't know anybody else. She
Hmm.
survived that. She came back. She said, okay, I got enough of that. I got my money. Now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to start this new thing that I want to do because I want to own my own business. And that was unheard of,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And in addition to that, it was like an apprenticeship, and back then we didn't call them apprenticeship.
Right.
She got paid. She got paid, but she was
Hmm.
earn while you learn, or learn while you
Yeah.
earn, kind of thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's what we call an apprenticeship today. And
Yes.
my son, one of my son works with that for the Department of Labor, and I said, well, your grandma's the one that really started that. He said, huh? He said, huh? I said, I'll tell you the story one day. But I
One of
love
the,
to share those stories with them because it's so funny that they don't realize the impact that the past has on even what we're going through today,
mhm.
even.
Yeah,
And
and
so,
it
yeah.
wasn't like they said, "Sit down and learn this."
Yes.
There were things that they did that were rituals, like when it rained, you had to
Mm-hmm.
turn everything off and
Yes.
learn, the Lord's Prayer and, the
Uh-huh.
different Bible verses. You never knew how that would help you when you got
Mm-hmm.
older. You hated it actually,
Right.
It was
Yes.
like, "It's hot in here, we don't wanna learn,"
Right.
They were literally teaching me a prayer life, and here there was such a contrast between both of my grandmothers that helped raise me. One was holiness, pray all the time. We were in church 5 days a week. And like I
Mm,
said, the other one, we had church at home.
mm,
One, we had to eat a certain way. The other one allowed us to eat however, we wanted to eat. It was such a contrast when I
mm.
think about it, as I grow older. At the time, we thought it was the worst of both worlds, but it was the best of both worlds.
Yes.
They taught me so how to cook,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, money survivals,
Yes.
uh, it's old school thinking, but that has kept me through COVID when jobs were scarce.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can whip up anything in the kitchen, no matter what ingredients are in there. I don't know how to
Oh, wow.
measure because they didn't
Wow.
measure.
Yeah, they didn't measure that. My mother does not measure either.
Yeah, we had to stand in that kitchen and watch. I mean, just so many things that I learned from my grandmothers that were, some of them were taboo, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but they
Mm-hmm.
helped develop me into the woman that I am. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing when you think about it. And Pink Diamond said to me, one day we were doing what co-hosting together, right? And she said, well, Dr. Marsh, you should get this person's information so that you can do interview them about their grandma. And I said, so I'm not usually interviewing people about their grandma. I'm usually interviewing grandmas or people who have who somehow may have deal with grandmas in some way. For example, if you are a health like a physical personal trainer or something, I want
Mm,
to hear what you have to say about how should a grandma work out, what should they be looking, what should they focus on,
mm,
you know, those kinds of things. Or if
mhm,
you're a financial planner, okay, can you talk to grandmas about it, you know, that sort of thing, but not just getting grandma stories. So
mhm,
now I've got a whole new idea based on what she said, of just asking people, especially these music artists, the impact that their grandmas had on them. And I
mhm.
cannot wait to hear some of these stories because you
Yeah,
just never know.
right,
Right? And sometimes
right.
people aren't even thinking about the fact that their grandma made a big impression on their lives. You
I'm
know, they
one.
don't even think about it. Yeah, they don't even really think about it. And
Mhm,
when I tell, like I do, I work with these interns, these are high school kids, and you know, I ask them, so tell me about your grandma. And they always, you know, they start smiling from the beginning. Oh, well, my grandma is this, you know, that sort of thing. Or my grand, or and, you know, when they, some of them might say, well, my grandma's passed, so I don't really know. So, but tell me about some stories sometimes you spent with her or something. And it always brings a smile to their face.
for
So it
sure.
doesn't matter who it is. Everybody has a really good, beautiful story about their grandma. At
Yeah,
least one,
yeah,
right?
yes.
And so that to me is an amazing thing as well. So
Mhm,
I told her, I said, well, thank you for suggesting that because I hadn't even thought about that. But you're right. Everybody has at least one Grammy. If we're lucky, we have two. One little boy said, oh, I got eight. I'm like, how eight grandparents? I said, how'd you get eight grandparents? He said, because my grandparents divorced and then each one married
mhm.
somebody else. And so now I said, wow,
Now that's a
you must get a
blessing.
lot of presents at Christmas, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now that's a blessing. I never met
That
either of my
is.
grandfathers.
Yes.
They
Okay.
passed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
they
Hmm.
passed before I was born.
Ah,
So
okay.
anybody that gets to meet their grandfather, I'm like, that is a blessing.
Mhm, mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, my grandma was I don't think she was ever married. She had 3 daughters, and 2 of them from one man and then 1 from the other, and I don't think she was ever married to any of them. That's why I
Mm.
said she was a very independent
Yeah,
woman. Right?
yeah.
Very independent, and she that's how she lived her life. And
Mhm.
she always, you know what they say, what is that they say? A diva is a hustler, a female
For
hustler.
sure.
That's what
Yes.
she was. The
Yeah.
woman was a
A
diva.
hustle. Mhm.
She knew how to make money no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yep. My grandmother had 7 children. Her husband died. My mom's mom. Her
Mhm.
husband died at 40 years old. She was pregnant.
Mm.
She was
Mm.
pregnant and she had 6 babies when her
Oh my
husband
god.
died. She never remarried. She worked, and one of her children was special needs. So
Wow.
back then, it wasn't, all the facilities and different things
Right.
like that. So she had to go and get, that work and take care of her kids. And
Wow.
my other grandmother, she married 3 times. That's why I said they had such a contrast.
Yes.
But by the time I came around, there was no grandfather in the home,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know. So that's what I saw. And you'll have some people today to frown upon that now. Yes, it taught us to be hustlers and
Mhm.
survivors and different things
Mhm.
like that. But some people will frown upon it because of the independent nature that
Mhm.
was passed on to us, not knowing that, I mean, we need it for survival. Unfortunately, that's the way the world has turned for some women. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
if I
Mhm.
didn't have those survivor skills, I don't know where I would be.
Exactly. Exactly. And the thing is, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, as they say, and you have to be strong. And you don't want, I mean, you know, just think if your husband passes away, your husband leaves and you fall apart. What's that gonna do for the kids?
Okay.
Yeah, so you just have to do what you have to do. And I think that is a skill. That's called resilience, right? And
For
I think
sure.
that's a skill that we have to have. That's one of those soft skills that we all have to have because
Perseverance as well.
yes, yeah, you just
Mhm.
don't know and you want to be prepared. And I know as a female in the world, I want my daughter and my granddaughters to know that you have to be able to take care of yourself when all else fails. You know, we don't want you to have to depend on a man to take care of you. You need to be able to take care of yourself. So you finish school, you go to college, you do the things that you need to do so that you can do that. That's critical. And I think that's another message that we want to send to them, right? And even though, like I said, my grandma did not go to college or anything, but she still taught me how to take care of myself,
Right.
be self-sufficient.
And you know, I tell my daughter that, and it's okay to want a mate. That's a plus.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know that.
Mhm.
I mean, please allow him to take care of you, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But in the event that something happens to him, you want to be able to survive.
Exactly. Yep. 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 Yeah. Definitely. So, but now tell me about your platforms. I know you've had some health issues recently, but what's your future plans?
So right now you'll see, you know, this is my biggest thing. It's okay to live. It
Mm.
it birthed out of the murder. My son was murdered. I don't know if you know that because I always say passed away.
Yeah, I
Well,
didn't know that. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
So my son was murdered. 2 years later, my sister was murdered.
Mm.
Separate cities, not related, you know. And so, in being in the entertainment industry, what I started realizing is even with entertainers, we know things must happen to them on a daily basis, but they have to continue to entertain. And if you are blessed to survive traumatic events in your life and you're still able to perform, because that's what you're doing,
Mhm.
then sometimes when a mother loses a child, the guilt can be so guilt ridden that you just don't want to do anything anymore. You don't want
Mm.
to live. You don't want to live out loud. I mean, I had me and another guy that's on the radio. Our children got murdered 30 days apart.
Oh, wow.
And he went on the air the same night his son got murdered. I continued. So my son got murdered in my birthday month. He got killed 8 days before my birthday. And my
Mm.
friends were already planning a birthday party for me. And my best friend was like, let him do it. So people talked about me as well. You know, they were like, how is she having a birthday party? And, you know, her son got killed. So my birthday was on that Thursday and his funeral was going to be on that Saturday. And just from talking to other moms, you know, over time, you feel guilty for still being alive after your child died.
Mm. Mm.
And I'm getting my glasses done. And this woman, I'm always like, you know, what is this connection? What am I feeling towards her? And so she talking. And she was like, people are talking about me because I'm throwing this big old party for my son. My son loved to party. And I look at her and I go, it's okay to live.
Mhm. 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 Yeah. Yeah.
And that is my son still giving to me
Mm.
in his death. And it has grown from I gave a young lady a shirt because she hosted a It's Okay to Live event. And Dr. Marshall, she said that that night she went to bed and she had planned out her whole suicide. And she grabbed a shirt out of the drawer. It was dark in the room. She didn't, you know, no, she didn't. And she got up that morning to go through with it, and it was my shirt.
Oh, wow.
So it has evolved into
Wow.
just helping people live regardless, not waiting to a birthday party to it just has evolved. So it is going to be my life journey to encourage. You can find my podcast, It's Okay to Live, if you Google It's Okay to Live or DJ Miss Tan or even Tanya Cummings. I noticed that this is what comes up. My web
Good.
my website is itsokaytolive.com. If I need to speak to a group, it is also so I have Jacoby's Heart. That's my son's foundation as well, which is a derivative of it from watching my daughter suffer the death of
Mm.
her best friend. I only had 2 kids. And I say, you know, they always take care of mothers automatically. They take care of dads, but who takes care of siblings?
Mm. Yeah.
So my initial initiative
Mm.
was to help siblings who had lost siblings, and then looking at the cousins. Nobody talks to the cousins. These are young people. My son was 22 in the prime of
Mm.
his life, not knowing my own sister was about to be murdered 2 years later.
Wow.
So now, not only am I an advocate for my daughter, I'm an advocate for myself. Me and my sister was 13 months apart. Everybody always thought
Mm,
we were twins. And now she didn't make it to 50. You know
ugh,
what I'm saying? So my life, you know what I tell people now, God gives me double for my trouble.
mm,
And I am just a grandma out in this world wanting to leave a legacy for my daughter to help, for my granddaughter to help others, because that's why we're here. There is nothing that says that we can escape these types of traumas.
yeah, yeah.
You don't think about it until you go through these types of traumas.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But
Oh my God.
God has blessed me to where I'm able to still speak. I'm still able to still function. I know some moms that don't function after they
Mm,
lost their child. So I know
yeah.
it must be something that I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
So I do it.
mm,
I do it with tears. I do it with pain. Like you said, I just had surgery. I'm on this journey trying to help people. I wake up one day and I'm like, gosh, I don't feel so well. I go to DJ. Afterwards, I tell my daughter, I can't breathe.
mm.
I had these nodules that have been growing for years, but it was one that just in March that started getting bigger and bigger, and it was going towards my windpipe.
Oh wow.
So, you know how they say back in the day, the devil was trying to silence me,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and it was going towards my vocal cords.
Oh wow.
And they said that it might be cancerous.
Ugh.
So they did a biopsy, it was benign, but this thing
Praise
was
the Lord.
steadily moving towards my windpipe. I was gonna have to get it out anyways. And I said, Lord, you have just the greatest sense of humor, because what? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. So they go in. The blessing is I don't have to get chemo or anything. They were able to remove all the nodules, my thyroid, the area behind my thyroid, and now
Mm,
I get to take medicine for the rest of my life to live, but
mm.
it's okay to live.
It's
Here's
okay to
another
live.
derivative of this. It's okay.
Yeah.
Really, God? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, Lord? Really? That's what we doing? All right. Okay. I'm gonna do it. But good grief, Charlie Brown. Like, this is a lot. This is a lot sometimes. But I think that we're supposed to do this months and months ago, Dr. Marsha, but
Mm-hmm.
God suffered it to be today so that I could be on the other side of knowing I got my pathology results back, to understand that this is another part of it's okay to live.
Mm,
I
mm,
have to live through all of this or I can die. You can
mm.
be alive and be dead, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So I want to be alive and I want to live. And people crucify me all the time. I'm an oversharer. I share so much of my life, but then there's that one person that comes to me and say, "Thank you." I had a young lady to show up to the book signing, and she's like, "I'm not your Facebook friend. I'm glad your page is public." And she was telling me where she met me, and she was like, "You were doing karaoke." And I said to myself, how could she be doing karaoke and her son got killed? She said, "But since then, my daughter committed suicide.
Mm,
And I go to your page when I'm having a bad day."
mm. Wow.
And that's how I survived it.
Mm,
He says, "I've never liked any of your posts, but I look forward to them.
wow.
And I'm so grateful." So that's my business. That's my platform.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to just tell people all over the world that it's okay, to live through grief, through loss, through tragedy. When my son died, I lost my 15-year job. I was married for 24 years. Right, a year prior to that, we were divorced. But for some odd reason, God wants me to do this work, and that's what I'm going to do.
Mm,
My grandbaby, she look up at me and she hear me on the radio, And when she gets older, she's gonna hear my story. She's gonna know, just like how you knew what, now that you are able to tell what your grandmother went through. You didn't know as a child because you were
Right.
watching it as a
Right.
child. But when you process it as an adult, you just made me realize that my grandbaby gonna say, gosh, my grandma was doing all of that with what she had to go through.
Mhm.
And that's
Mhm.
gonna give her inspiration. And guess what?
Yes.
She gonna tell somebody else
Yep.
about her grandma. This
Mhm.
was amazing, Dr. Marshall.
Yes, it was, girl.
Oh my
And you're
God.
right. It's just so funny how God works things out because we've been trying this for a while. But
Yeah.
I tell you, your story is phenomenal, and I had no idea about everything that you've shared with me. And thank you for being open. I appreciate it so much because you didn't have to be. But you have a beautiful spirit, and I love that about you. Since the first time I met you over the internet, right? Whatever. But I was like, oh, I love her spirit. So I love people that smile.
Yeah.
I hate people that don't smile. I want to know why you're not smiling, baby. It's good.
Hmm.
Life is good. Like you say,
Mhm.
it's okay to live. It's okay to
Mhm.
smile.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, for
Yes. 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 Yes.
sure.
And sometimes, and I'm so grateful for you sharing it too, because I've been going through something recently, but within the last month, nowhere near what you've gone through, nowhere near what you're going through. But I've been over here feeling sorry for myself. For about 2 weeks, I was feeling sorry for myself. And I'm like, girl, you need to get your life together. There are people out here with worse stuff than you going through.
But
But,
let me
you
say
know,
this. This is what I tell people. Your cross is your
mhm,
cross to bear. Never
mhm,
minimize your cross because that's
mhm.
the biggest thing that you've had to go through.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Don't compare it to what somebody else had to go through because it is big for you. And
Yes.
that is
Yes.
okay.
Definitely. Definitely.
Definitely
Yeah.
okay, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to break myself away from, because like I said, I was feeling sorry. I'm like, oh my God, is this gonna be the end? Is this how I'm gonna have to live the rest of my life? I don't want to live like this, right?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
right? I don't want to,
Listen,
right?
I'm a person that don't even like to take Tylenol. And I'm like, really,
Right.
Lord? I gotta take a Synthroid to live, regulate my heart, my brain. If I don't
Yes,
take it, I'm not gonna be here. Seriously, what is
yes,
this about?
yeah,
Seriously.
yeah. It's crazy. It is so crazy.
It is not
Wow.
the
And
end.
I'm gonna go to your page, I mean your website too, the It's Okay to Live. And I know we follow each other on, I don't know if it's Facebook, Instagram, whatever, but I'm gonna go to the It's Okay to Live page
Dot
too and
com.
follow you on that as well.
Mhm.
Because I would love for you to talk to other grandmas at some point about this because I believe so. One of the things that I do is on the podcast and the different things that I do, I try to ground everything in these 8 dimensions of wellness, and that is social wellness, emotional wellness, right? Physical wellness, spiritual wellness, intellectual wellness, financial wellness, and environmental wellness, and I added technology. It's not my theory, it's somebody else's theory, but I added to the theory, right?
Mhm.
The technology wellness, because I think that's an area that we are maybe lacking in. Seniors,
Mhm.
not just grandmas, but seniors in general. And
Mhm.
so we've got to kind of improve ourselves for that because the world is changing, it's changing quickly, and we need to definitely be on board. Um, but because of those different areas of wellness, I like to do, different things, webinars sometimes around that focus on one area or put something in the newsletter. And I love to share your It's Okay to Live because I think that's an emotional thing,
Yes, for sure.
right? And
Sure.
so
Mhm.
that's an area that when we do that on our next round for that, I really want to make sure maybe we'll spotlight you and then share, your website and all of that so that people
Okay.
can see and go there and check it out.
Definitely. I'm
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to having a retreat soon. It's okay to live
Mm.
retreat
Oh, that'd be
where
wonderful.
we can get together and like I say, just coach. I'm a certified grief coach, relationship
Mm.
coach. I have so many certifications that they're collecting dust. That it's
Right, right,
time
right.
for me to kind of move into that awareness into that field. So that
Mhm.
would help me considerably,
Yeah.
to get the word out, to get it outside of Florida. So I'm very appreciative of you.
Okay.
I'm very appreciative of you wanting to speak with me, because I always thought it was because you knew my entire story.
No, no, no. It mainly was because you were a grandma. When Pink Diamond told me you were a grandma, I said, "Ooh, I want to know about her. I want to hear a story." I said, "I like her disposition, right?"
Hmm.
And so I said, "I need to know a little bit more about her because I want to know, you know." And Pink Diamond said, "Yeah, I think she's a grandma." So then that's kind of how I that even piqued my interest. And so that was really what it was about. I didn't know the story, and then I know you shared one time we were on, what was that thing we was on with, was it with T Quest? Remember the thing we were on? It was something where I thought it was me,
Was I
you.
doing a training?
No, no, no. It was on T Quest podcast or show or something.
Hmm.
And it was Guys Against Girls, Venus versus Mars. Wasn't
Oh,
that you?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it was
so
like we used to have like questions night or something back.
exactly,
We
and we
need to
were
start that again.
right, and it was
That's
fun because it was
fun.
silly,
Yeah.
you know, it
Mhm.
was silly, and and so then when we did that, I kind of liked you a little bit more, and I said, "Oh, I like Miss Tan the way she thinks," right? So, and because I was
Yes,
just
I
cutting up,
remember now, because
right?
we were kind of like,
Yeah, we were cutting up on that,
yes, because we are realists,
right,
we like the truth and we speak it.
right,
Yeah.
right. And I was like, no,
Mhm.
because it was those guys, and I'm like, yeah, no, 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 no. And I said, no, we don't want to do it that way. Because guess what? If as a woman right now, I am not trying to do what men want me to do. I'm trying to do what I want to do. Okay, and I don't care who
You
don't
were
like
on
it.
my podcast. That's what it was.
Was that your podcast? Oh, you and
Yes.
Pinky. You and
Wait.
Pinky. That's what it
Yes,
was.
yes.
Yeah,
You were on me and Pinky's part, because I'm like, that thing was turning in my head. Yeah,
why
we
did
did
I
Venus
think T
versus
Quest? Because I've
Mars.
been on T Quest
Yes,
podcast too.
yes,
Yeah, but yeah. Okay, yeah, that was fun though. That
yes,
was fun. Do
for
you guys
sure.
still do that?
No, we don't do it
That
anymore.
was a lot of fun. That
Yeah,
was a lot of fun.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I'm gonna go back to my own for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I enjoyed doing this. And you know how I got started was with Cammie Grayson. You know Cammie?
The name
She's
sounds familiar.
Fleet DJ. She was a member of the Fleet.
Mhm.
Because when I first met her, she was a member of the Fleet.
Well, what
And
was her DJ name? That would
no,
something.
she's not a DJ. She was a host.
Oh, okay. And then I'll
Yes,
look
so
out.
she did her own podcast. She started a podcast studio and all this here in the area where I'm at in Hampton Roads,
Hmm.
Virginia. And
Wow.
I met her through a friend of mine I went to college with.
Hmm.
Excuse me, and she was telling me about her. So I met her, and then she said, "Yeah," she said, "I got a podcast too." I'm like, I've always wanted to do a podcast, right? Because I like talking, right? So I said,
Hmm.
"Ooh, I
Me
love
too,
that because
girl.
I love talking." So that's how I got started. And then she said, "Well, you might want to join the Fleet DJs." And then from there, I met Pink Diamond, and yeah,
Wow.
so that's kind of how I got into all of
And
this.
now
But
you met
yeah,
me.
yeah. And
Look
now I
at
met
God.
Miss Tan.
Look
Yeah,
at God. He is something. He is very intentional.
yes,
You don't
yes,
even be
yes, yes.
knowing. He's
I
very
know.
intentional.
And it's so funny how, all the pieces fit together. And you're
Yes,
like, wow, this is so
sure.
beautiful because I would have never known you had I not known Fleet DJs, not known Cammie Grayson. Yeah, it's funny.
Right.
It's funny
For
like that.
sure.
And my friend Pam had not connected me to her. So you just
Mhm.
never know how
Never
he's going
know.
to use you. But there
Mhm.
was one thing I wanted to say about, was it about the Fleet DJs? What was it about? It was something I was thinking as you were talking earlier. Oh God, I can't think of it now.
Oh,
But oh, I know. I have a friend who does since I've been doing this grandma work, she's a grandma also. She's in South Carolina. Her son was murdered as well. And she
mm,
does this fashion show every year in his honor. It
mm,
is
nice.
beautiful. She was a runway model, right?
Mhm.
And now she trains people, in South Carolina. She's in Columbia.
Mhm.
Uh Beautiful, 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 beautiful event that she has every year.
Wow.
And as you were talking about your son, I was thinking, wow, you guys need to know each other
Yeah,
because
for sure.
yeah, there's something, maybe there's some collaboration there. Her
Mhm.
name is Lolita Frazier,
Okay.
and she calls herself the strut talk therapist.
Okay, you have to
So
send me her
yeah,
information.
yeah, what she does is she calls it strut talk therapy.
Mhm.
And so she says, strut through it. No matter what's happening in your life, strut through it. So
And
this,
mine is dance and karaoke through it. So yeah, we definitely need
yes,
to
definitely.
collaborate. Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
I often say that God knew, and you know, your children know different things. That son, my son encouraged me to have this music, and I still use it like at Angel Moms events, you know,
Mm,
to encourage kids, you know, because you could just forget for 4 hours at a time and dance like nobody's looking. I've
yes.
done it for dads that, you know, because men don't get to be expressive, to see them dance in the rain and do karaoke and just forget about the pain of losing their child for that
Hmm.
little bit of time. So yeah, I love that concept.
Yeah, yeah, and
Let's
I
do
yeah,
it.
and it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so yeah, I will send you her information because I think you guys would hit it off. And one time I went to her fashion show. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And she had this scene in the show where everybody was dressed in black and she had them wear a mask with the name of the person in their family that was murdered.
Mm.
Powerful. I mean,
Yes.
so powerful.
Mm.
Just so powerful. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've gone to her show. This is an annual event that she has every year, and I've gone maybe 3 times to that show. And I'm going to go again this year. It's always in Columbia. But yeah, maybe
What
there's
what
some
month?
September.
Oh, that's the month.
Yeah, yeah,
What's the date this year? Does she have a
yeah,
date already?
September. Yeah, September 28th.
Mm. I may
Yeah,
can join you this year.
yeah, that'd be wonderful. So I do my Gorgeous Grandmas of Charlotte on the 27th,
Hmm.
and that's
Oh,
in
wow,
Charlotte,
perfect.
and then Charleston, not Charleston, but Columbia is about maybe an hour from there, I think. So
Mm.
not that far.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna drive down there and
Oh,
do that afterwards. Yeah.
I actually think I will have to double check. I think I have a fashion show. We were supposed to be in Charlotte at that same time.
Oh
I think
wow.
it's been moved to Jacksonville. I got to double check on it. Oh,
Okay, okay, yeah. Well,
darn.
I will send you a link to her Eventbrite or whatever, so you
Mhm.
can at least see that, and then her website.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, okay.
Wonderful.
Well, this has been wonderful, 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 Miss
Yes.
T, and
Yes.
it's been a
Yes.
lot of fun. And I've enjoyed getting to know you better. I did not mean for you to cry, but I know sometimes you
I'm a
get
crybaby.
right. I'm that way too. I get full about certain things, so I just gotta
I,
let it go.
it's
It
such
is
a
what it is.
revelation that you know
Yeah,
brought to me today. Like
thank you.
God is so good. He's so amazing.
Yes, 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 yes. And I look forward to us doing something together again because, like I said, I want you to be a part of the book. I love your story, and I love that you're willing to share it because there are a lot of grandmas out there that would love to hear, and learn something from it. That's the most important thing.
I
Yes.
will.
So thank
You
you so much. And
encourage
how can
me.
people get in touch with you for social media? Let me get that before we
So
take.
everywhere it's DJ Miss Tan. I can also so you can Google me.
Okay.
But all my social media handles, I just left them as DJ Miss Tan, DJ MSTAN. And my website is itsokaytolive.com.
All right. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you
Oh,
for
you're welcome. And it
for
was
the
so great talking.
grandmas.
I know, right? Peace. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Miss Tan. Bye bye.
Bye bye.